music, dance, and drama all into one.
The thing I wanted to do business with was government because things just never got done.
Hello there, this is Seriously Speaking, and I'm Adesuwa Onyenokwe. You know how it is in life that you think the curveballs that you receive are not the best, but somehow you have to survive. I have 3 survival stories here today, people who live their dreams against all odds. And I bet you, at the end of the day, you tell yourself, I am one of the luckiest people. It doesn't matter what nature or life or circumstances dish you, is what you do with it that counts more than anything else. Welcome. This is Seriously Speaking, and my name remains Adesuwa Onyenokwe. Yes, if you've never heard of the word genotype, you probably have heard of the word sickle cell. But even if you haven't heard that, around these parts, the word SS is very common. When you say somebody's SS, the first thing you think is this person is on death row, that in no time this person will be dead. Now, I have a guest who is an SS and has lived for almost 5 decades. But beyond that, what SS has done to her, both physically and emotionally, haven't dampened her spirit or spoiled anything about her life. How much she enjoys her life that she lives, we don't know. But one thing I know she's not happy about is the fact that most buildings in this country are still to be what? No, okay, look, let me welcome Toyin Adesola, first of all, to the studio. So I don't speak too much English. My guest is Toyin Adesola.
Thank you, Adesola.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
And we've known each
again.
other now for almost 8 years, 10 years.
Yes,
and you know, the first
years.
time we met was because you wrote a book that's titled
Still Standing.
Still Standing.
Yes.
And that Still Standing was a summation of your life story, and that people thought you were still standing then at 40 or close to 40.
Yes, 40 then.
At that time, you didn't know you would live that long. It's nice to have you on this show.
Thank you.
Today, we are seriously speaking about your life.
Yes.
Your life as an example for others to see that regardless of what it is that it throws at you, you can do something at it.
Yes.
Now, so what's that thing you were telling me earlier about your anger that most buildings in this country are not what?
They are not disability friendly at all. Mm-hmm. Recently, I was even in a newly built building because I give or take, the older buildings don't have that facility yet. But this was a newly built building. And there was a program that I had to climb about 3 flights of stairs.
Wow,
to
and then
get
you
to
go
it.
with a cane.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And to top it all, there was no toilet upstairs. You had to come back all the way downstairs to use the loo. So it was really frustrating. And I see that with a lot of, I even use a cane. What about people who use wheelchairs? So you find out that most of them are homebound because of these challenges.
So it's very annoying.
Yes,
there should be, I mean, again, this time, I think government says that, I mean, at least at the national level, I've heard things like they're going to be more inclusive with things that taking the care of the people with disabilities.
Exactly. Even there's the Lagos state law that buildings, in terms of the planning, should be accessibly friendly. But, you know, like in all things in Nigeria, is their enforcement, trying to enforce the law so that people would comply by it.
Now, well, this is not about buildings. This is about you, the building that God has built. And you have a disability.
Yes.
As a result of your sickle cell disease.
Yes, I do.
Tell me about that.
When I was about 17 or so, I had what you call a vascular necrosis of the bone, which is...
Slow down.
A vascular necrosis of the bone. It's more of a breaking down of your bone, which makes it soft and easily breakable. So I had an issue in the hospital. I had an infection. And then one day I decided to, I was bedridden for about over 3 weeks. So the traditional thing is that you're supposed to turn the patient so that they don't get bed sores. And thank God for our federal hospitals, they didn't turn me. So I decided to do the turning because I was getting really sore at that spot. And the next thing I had a snap. And when I told the nurse, I was screaming in pain. She didn't believe me. She just said, "Oh, take Panadol." So it was until my father came in the evening because he's a medical. They now rushed me to the theater and found out that my hip had separated from the socket. So I had to be in a cast for about 6 months. Then I started using the crutches and stuff. So since then, I've been having this limited disability in trying to move around and stuff like that.
Around here, that's double jeopardy because you had lived at 17, you were you were a sickler, and you had lived 17 years with that being a sickler.
Yes.
What were the worst times about being a sickler?
Not being able to do much. My parents were very protective, understandably, because they were afraid that, oh, anything I do that is strenuous, I'll be in the hospital. And during that period, when I was growing up, the hospital was almost like my second home. When you talk about blood transfusion, I always say I've had over 100 blood transfusion to date. And so...
And 5 surgeries, I think.
Yes, 5 surgeries. And so they were a bit protective. So a lot of things that you typically would do at that age, growing up, playing outside with your friends, was not as it should be. So I was more of a homebound person. So seeing my friends, seeing my sister doing all those things, it was a bit frustrating because I'm a very active person and I'm a very dogged, I have a dogged spirit. Sometimes my parents used to say I'm stubborn, but I just believe it's doggedness and resilience because I just believe that nothing should stop me from achieving what I want to achieve. So seeing that at that period in time, I was like, wow, there's a lot of things I can't do. In fact, my educational process was disrupted because of that.
Is that always the case with sicklers?
Well, it varies. It varies because one thing I tell people, each person's experience with sickle cell is different. There are some people that are more blessed not to even have as much crisis as others, because of certain issues from fetal hemoglobin, and it's too technical, but there are different things that make people's experience with sickle cell different. So you can have, we have this stereotype that the person with sickle cell has a sickly look, thin, but there are people who are plump and fat that have sickle cell. There are people who are tall, yes, that have sickle cell. And so it's not a determining factor to know whether the person has sickle cell a lot. That's why you even find a lot of people hiding it because it's convenient. They easily, nobody will suspect. But then again, our experience, as I said, is different. Yeah.
Now, your father is a professor, was a professor in Unilag.
Yeah.
Your mother was a nurse.
Yeah.
Your father is medical. And then that means they were both AS.
Yes.
So, did they know they were AS?
Not at that period. In fact, I think it was just one doctor in the whole of Lud that managed to figure out, because this was 1965. Sickle cell wasn't really that known as it is a bit now. So I think it was one doctor in the Lud that finally figured out what was wrong with me.
Especially because you have a sister.
Yes,
I mean, they had a child before they had you.
Yes, exactly.
And she seemed okay.
Yes.
So they didn't have any reason to imagine that.
Exactly.
But did they ever feel guilty? Your father is late now, but your mom is still alive?
Yes.
She's still going strong?
Very strong.
So did they ever feel guilty about that?
I don't think so. I wouldn't know anyway.
You should ask them. You should have asked them. Did you feel guilty? Did you feel responsible? Because that's one of the well, did they ever feel? You don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't really think so. I think they were more worried. As I said, they were very protective. In fact, something I used to fight because I'm very dogged, and so. But I wouldn't say they were guilty. They felt guilty because of the way they even treated me. Yes, they were protective, but still they treated me like a regular person. I see families, the way they treat their children with sickle cell, and they do it as if to say they're a burden to them, that is their fault that they came into the world, whereas they're the ones who give back to them. And I did not have anything like that.
Now, your sister is AA, and then you are SS. How wicked can life be? She could have borrowed you one S. I mean, did she ever say, can I give you one S?
Well, I know my sister was, she's somebody who had really felt, when I was in pain, she's somebody who felt for me. She couldn't handle when I was in pain. And I'm sure she could have done that if she could have. But I always say something. I said, I have a strong spirit and a strong will compared to her.
So SS SS, strong spirit.
Yes, that's true. So I think everything, I always say that your challenges are your stepping stone to success. So yes, life throws you a curveball, but it's what you make of it that is important. And I've never for once regretted. In fact, I told somebody that maybe if I didn't have this story, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. Maybe I'll be doing something.
Because you run an NGO now that's called
Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management.
And the reason you started that is not just because you're a sickler, but the stories that you've heard, like you say.
Yes, exactly.
The misinformation that exists.
Exactly, especially when I brought out the book. And because when I brought out the book, I said sometimes we live in a cocoon. We think we are the only ones with the problems in the whole world. But by the time I brought up the book, I realized that there are a lot of issues that hadn't been addressed with people living with sickle cell, and that's how I started the NGO.
Are the numbers of sicklers growing in Nigeria?
Yes.
And this is because?
Because people don't take, one, they don't know understand the ramifications of knowing your genotype. Two, people have been giving wrong genotypes. Three, people don't take the thing seriously. I was watching a Vox Pop someday, and my friends living with sickle cell in diaspora were like, what's going on in Nigeria? And you heard people saying, oh, I don't need to know my genotype. That's not that all I have to do is to lay my hand on my wife's stomach and everything will be okay. You know, we use faith to cover a lot of things, and ignorance, thinking that, because we're always thinking more of from the end of the couple, oh, I love him, or he loves me and all that. But we don't realize, I've seen marriages being destroyed because they don't realize the challenges they're going to face. Nobody has told them to understand that this thing is not just about you, it's about what the child is going to be going through on a regular basis.
Do you still experience crises?
Oh, yes. I even had one 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, but now you know what to do. It's like, clockwork.
Oh, yeah. I'm used to it, so I know what to do. I even know when it comes, I know, oh, I suspect I didn't do this, I didn't do that.
So what are the basic things that people must know, for example?
Well, one of the major things is not to avoid both emotional and physical stress. A lot of people focus on the physical, but we forget the emotional. And I always tell them the worry brings you a lot of issues. Then secondly, drink plenty of water and take the medications that have been prescribed for you regularly as much as possible, and eat healthy.
By God's grace, we're going to celebrate your 50th very soon. And then we'll throw a party and shut down Lagos. Hopefully your TV show would have started.
Yes, I hope so.
I wish you all the best on that.
Thank you very much.
I'll say thank you, and we'll take a break, and I'll return after my break with my next guest, my next super story on the show today. Yes, welcome back. My next guest, in Nigeria, how many people will gladly tell you I am adopted or I am an orphan, or, oftentimes the picture you have of orphans are people who are in want, they are suffering. And if they don't have anybody helping them, they always forever blame the whole world for their circumstances. But my guest is today described, I must read this, so, sensational, intelligent, and hardworking. She lost her biological parents at 10, and she found herself and her siblings at the back of a church living from hand to mouth, until a couple that a lot of us know, they're called Mr. and Mrs. George of the Strong Towers Orphanage, took them in, and thenceforth, my guest became Eva George. It's nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
But your name is Evans. Mommy gave you Evans. That's the biological mommy gave you Evans.
Yeah, my biological name is Evans, but short from Eva.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. So, but you remember growing up with your parents, do you? Because you were 10 by the time you lost them.
Yes, I remember growing up with my mom, really, because my dad died when I was 2. Yes, but my mom died until I was 10 years old.
So was it a hard life? Because, she's struggling to raise. You were 3 of you?
Yes. Well, after I lost my dad at age 2, definitely life was really, really hard because, my late mom didn't have a job that she was doing and all that. So it was basically the church where my late dad was attending. So they were the ones that were still taking care of my mom and the rest of us. So after my mom died, everything became harder. I became the mother, I became the father of the family. So I had to do a lot of jobs to, take care of my junior.
What kind of jobs did you do at age 10?
Okay, I was hawking pure water. Then also in the church, I got a job whereby whenever they're having 9VG or any church program, I go for message. So when I go for message, they just give me the change. So I just keep adding everything together to, take care of my family.
You couldn't rent a house?
Pardon?
You couldn't rent a house at that?
No, the church actually, when my mom was still alive, the church rented a house for us, but when my mom died, so we all came back to
Because you were too young to at least maintain a house.
Yes. And also, why they gave my mom the church was because my dad was like a pastor in the church, so it was like what the church gave to him. So after he died, after my mom died too, so they gave it to another person. Then we came back to the church.
So where was this? Where did this happen?
Okay, this all happened in Ajegule.
So that's, they call it Jungle City?
Yes, the Jungle City.
So was it really a jungle life? Did you have dreams, even at that age? Did you have dreams? Because today you are Big businesswoman, if I must say.
Yeah, I had dreams. Even when I was still very young, you know, I used to attend these acting classes in the neighborhood. But then my dreams were, I actually just left my dreams. I abandoned my dreams because after staying in the church, I was a domestic helper to one of the church members. So she always made me believe that, oh, when you're an orphan, you can never be successful. So I grew up with that mentality. So everything, I just felt like, okay, wake up, do this and all that. But when I came to Little Saint Orphanage, everything changed.
So, and again, how did you meet the couple? How did you meet the Georges?
Okay, when we were abandoned at the back of the church, some concerned church members called the home, called the orphanage home, and that is when Mrs. George sent one of the staff to pick us up.
So at that time, you know, I pick on the word that you said, which is that orphans don't have a future.
Yes.
And what did that impression come from?
Yeah, it came from, it was my aunt that was, I mean, not really my aunt, like she's a church member, but I refer to her as my aunt. She was always, you know, because all she wanted, she just wanted me to be a house help, do all this. So she always made me to believe that, she just used to say to me that, oh, orphans don't have a future and all that they can't be successful. Even she kept, it was like a fear in me. So I started believing that because she was the only person I could rely on at that time of my life. So I started growing up with that, oh, I won't be successful. So the dreams I had, attending acting classes, you know, everything just started disappearing because, oh, somebody has told me that, oh, I won't be successful because I'm an orphan.
So, but I mean, going to this orphanage changed everything. So
yes,
now, what was your dream at that point?
Okay, when I got
because
to the...
today you're a movie producer.
Yes, I am. Okay, when I got to the orphanage, there's this, there were some aunties and, like, we refer to the workers like aunties and uncles that were in the house. One is Mr. Leonard and the other one, Miss Uche. So, you know, they took me really, they took me like a daughter to them. So Mr. Leonard, every week, he must make sure I read an inspirational book. So I was always reading books and reading. So that was why I started developing myself back.
So your film production company, how many movies have you produced? Since 2009, is it what?
Yes. No, not really since 2009. Since 2009, I had the idea that, okay, when I'm done with school, I'm going to go into film production. So at 2012, when I graduated from Crawford University, I went into my passion, which is setting my movie production. So till date, we've done about 3 movies. Yeah.
So where are your siblings today?
Well, my siblings, they are still in the home. Yes.
Are they in the university or something?
Yes. My junior brother, David, is in Crawford University too. He's going to his 300 level. And then my elder brother, Samuel, just finished from Duff Institute. He did catering and hotel management. He just graduated about 2 weeks ago. So
what kind of lessons do you think your life story holds for people?
First of all, I would say strength, because no matter what I went through, I was still strong. I still had the belief that, oh, even if so many things were around me, I still had the belief that, oh, one day I will actually make it.
Did you feel sorry for yourself?
Yes, as at then, I felt sorry for myself.
And asked God, why me?
Yeah, I was always, I thought God hated me. I thought God just had a special arrangement for me that was not just working at all.
So how do you share this with, you know, fellow orphans and things like that?
Okay, like when I paid a visit to Modukbeko at Yaba, you know, I had a talk with some of them who could, you know, communicate with me, and I had to let them know that no matter what, everything you are going through right now is a phase. You will definitely go away from this phase, but what will actually keep you going is what you want to be and where exactly you know that this career of yours will take you to. So you just have to be very, very strong.
Well, I want to remind you of the first feature-length film that you did was called Last Minute.
Yes.
And this is a film, it was to campaign for the liberty of orphans and the less privileged in Nigeria. Where did you show this film and what, I mean, saying what drove is a bit stupid because what drove it is your life experience, right? Yeah. But did you act in it? You wanted to be an actress, you remember?
No, I started in Nollywood in 2009 as an actress, so I've done a lot of movies in Nollywood. But it was after I graduated, I moved into producing my own movies. Well, Last Minute, we've shot some parts already. We've not finished filming it because it's a film with so much budget. Why I'm doing this film is to campaign for other orphans in Africa, to use my life story, the truth about my life, as an inspiration to other orphans all over Africa.
So you mean that there's hope for orphans, no matter how bad it is?
Yeah.
And you also have a blog. You even won the winning blogger in 2012. You call it On Point Niger. What are you blogging about? Tell the Nigerians what you're blogging about.
Okay, what I'm blogging about is entertainment news. Yes, but the blog is a bit down for now because I need to get somebody that would just focus on it and build it up back. Yeah.
So you lived your dream against all odds, right?
Yes.
And do you still have challenges today? And what are the biggest challenges to people achieving their dreams?
Okay, as a young entrepreneur and as somebody that has actually survived all odds, the challenge I'm having right now is finances to take my business forward. Yes, that's
But you
it.
will break that one too if you've broken other challenges. You will break that one too,
yes,
I'm sure.
Yes, definitely, I will.
So thank you very much for being with me on the show. I'll
Thank
take
you.
a break and I'll give you my last guest on the show.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Now, my next inspiring story, you may not recognize her, but you will know the name Bukky Taylor, at least if you live in Lagos or you live anywhere in Africa, because that's one of the top PR companies in Nigeria today. Now, why would she be on a show where I'm talking about living against all odds? She's one woman that some people say she's better. She's like a man in a woman, a man in a woman's body because she's a go-getter. She's a doer. She's laughing already. Her name is Bukky Karibi-Whyte.
Hi.
How you doing?
Auntie Adesuwa.
You saw that beautiful photo? Oh, that girl is a diva. Oh. That girl is a diva. But you're the only daughter of a family, a very strong family.
Yeah.
Because I know that your family come from a lineage of very strong women.
That's right.
You know, you agree with that?
I do.
You know, and do you feel odd sitting down here on a story, in a show that's talking about living against all odds?
Yes.
Sincerely?
Yes and no. And yes, because I feel like everyone has odds. Everybody. And of course, it's been a struggle to get here professionally. But we're doing it, so it's kind of nice. But what's actually weird about me sitting up here is that usually I put my clients up here. I'm never the one up here. I'm usually one sitting down somewhere and watching and making sure they're doing everything right. So it's kind of cool to be in the spotlight.
Well, you couldn't say no to Auntie Adesuwa.
No. When Auntie calls, you move.
You know, now growing up, I use that intro and it's not with any, I'm not being rude or whatever.
Of course.
But you come out very masculine. Because you're tough. You were called Voltron as a child. Come on, girl. I lie. Who gave you that name? One of your brothers?
Yeah. Well, my only brother.
Okay.
I am a strong female. I've tried to understand it. It's something I actually don't really understand because I don't think I do it on purpose. I sound strong. My voice is strong. All the women in my family have strong voices.
Your auntie Uche.
Uche Majakodumi. We're all strong women. And I don't know if that has anything to do with our being from Onitsha or being from that part of town, but my mom is the same way. She's very strong as well. My grandmother, all the women in my family are pretty much like this. So there's times I've struggled and I'm like, okay, Mom, people think I'm aggressive. Why am I like, and I try so hard to, sound a little bit more feminine. Yeah, it won't work. I walk confident. My mom raised me to be confident. We're go-getters in my family. We don't take a beat down for an answer. If we're beat down, we're getting back up and we're doing it again. So.
Okay, that's interesting because people find that, they say women like you don't attract guys, but you've got 2 guys under your belt already at such a young age. I find that it didn't work right for you for the first time, but that didn't stop you.
No, it didn't. And funny enough, we do attract guys, I think. And when they meet us the first time, they don't go anywhere else, I want to say, because I think they find there's something about a woman who's confident and who's strong, as opposed to,
Lily-livered.
I think so.
I would have thought you wouldn't touch marriage again, because for me, that's why I believe you live your dreams. You don't let anything stop you. Again, I think it's your background. I don't know.
Well, for me, I think one of the most important thing was that, one, my first marriage, I have a son from that marriage. And I didn't want a situation where my son was seeing me dating. And plus, I met someone that was just amazing, and that's fantastic dad to my guy, and all of that. So that worked.
That works. So, I mean, how have you lived your dreams? How have you been able to live your dreams regardless? Because you started your PR company while you were still in the States.
Yeah, I was actually in Canada.
And this was about 8 years ago.
Yes, I started when I was 25. And
you're not afraid to say your age?
No, I'm gonna be 33 next week, Sunday. Yeah, I started when I was 25, and for me, it's been fantastic since then. This is what I was born to do. My mom did PR. So I grew up with her on TV, her talking to press, her organizing USA 94, footballers in my house. My upbringing is really very interesting. I mean, Charlie Boy is a family member of mine. I grew up with him riding his motorcycle to my house every Sunday. The Eagles, I'd met them since I was young. When I was 4, I sang in the opening of Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria. Ben Bruce got me on that one. I did Nigeria Airways commercials. So I was born into that.
It was inevitable that you would do this.
And I started doing stuff. I mean, even when I was in university, I was organizing events. I became a member of a very prominent sorority. I was organizing shows, doing a lot of publicity work for breast cancer, doing AIDS walks and stuff like that. But I didn't realize what I was doing was PR. It was just natural to me. Even secondary school, if you meet any of my teachers, when they tell you, Bukky does PR now, they're like, we expected it, we're not shocked at all.
So is there a school to learn PR? Because you could have done it
there are courses to learn PR, but what I've learned now is that PR, I don't believe PR can be taught. No one can teach you to be passionate about another person's life or another person's brand. It's your passion, your natural passion for that brand that will give you the ability to sell it.
So are you telling me you're passionate about all your brands?
I am.
In different ways?
If I'm not passionate about any of my clients, I don't work with that client. So I pick my clients. Because in order for me to call you and say, Auntie Adesuwa, I want this person on the front cover of TW magazine, I need to be able to sell it to you. And if I don't believe in it, you'll be able to tell that I'm lying.
So it's beyond whether they're paying you or not.
Exactly.
So, but again, PR, PR is a little bit of a funny kind of business. People say there's a lot of coating and whitewashing and, you know, that you're able to stand your own in that. I mean, before you, maybe there were PR companies, but you've kind of
they're huge
made
ones.
It a physicious. That's the Lagos word.
They're fantastic, huge PR firms, but I think that I came with the independent PR company. You know, because you have huge ones, you have your Sesema, you have your Insight, you have all those fantastic companies that represent huge brands. But I came as an individual, a publicist, offering publicity and PR services, reputation management, stuff like that. I was telling somebody the other day, there's a new company in Nigeria now called Rent a Crowd. Yes. So if you're opening a store and you want 500 people standing in front of your door waiting for it to open so that press can say, wow, 500 people waiting for Auntie Adesuwa's store to open, they can rent you that crowd. If you want people in front of the stage while you're performing and they're screaming and they're shouting, saying, oh my God, Auntie Adesuwa, you're the best rapper in the world, you can rent the crowd. So Nigeria is changing very quickly. PR is so many things. You're renting crowds, you're getting to...
You're correcting impressions?
You're correcting impressions, reputation management, damage control is getting pretty big now. So, I mean, blogs are going crazy, so people are making sure that they're represented properly in that demand. Having your publicist go before you to an event to prepare the press on the red carpet before you come. We're getting there. We're getting very Hollywood with it. And I won't be surprised that in the next couple of years, PR will be one of the hottest jobs and one of the hottest things in industry to be in.
What do you think young women will find inspiring in your story?
I started my company with zero capital. All I really had was, this is what I want to do and I'm going to do it, which is unfortunately what I am like. I think what you find is that you can be anything. I did not know where the business was going to take me. I had done maybe 3 months in another PR agency. And I was like, you know what, I want to do my own thing and my own way. And I'll never forget, my first client was LD from Tribesmen. I mean, and then I had the Mrs. Club from Ekene Onu. And then next thing I was working for DeBange. And then next thing I'm working for Estee Lauder, Tom Ford, Clinique, Ciroc, Johnny Walker. I grew very
You
steady.
have to call some of the big names.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
I preach the client anywhere I go. But I didn't fly and become Bobby Taylor overnight. I worked for it.
But I find that what I find interesting is the fact that it doesn't matter what anybody tells you. People tell you you're pretty and you think you can achieve things because you're pretty. People tell you you are feminine because you can achieve things. You are totally not the kind of person that they say, okay, this girl is, she's too masculine. Oh, she's too assertive. Oh, she's too aggressive. That could have stopped you from becoming what you wanted to become.
Right.
But you didn't let it.
I didn't. Because, again, I think it has a lot to do with confidence and knowing who you are and what you're about. When you know who you are, what you're doing, and you're making sure that you're doing things to the best of your ability, nobody can really tell you anything. If they told you anything, you wouldn't buy it. You'd be like, no, that's not me.
Doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you sound like. It doesn't matter what you...
No.
Everything can be bought.
Everything.
Everything can be bought.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on this segment. But I would like you to stay back so I can engage with all the other three and talk about obstacles that people can have.
Sure.
And how people can at least overcome those obstacles.
Definitely.
Thank you, Bukky.
Thank you.
You can call me AO.
AO, Auntie.
We'll be right back in a short while to engage on the panel with my three unusual guests, but unstoppable they remain. They're going to tell you how you can remain unstoppable if you don't go away. Yes, welcome back. I have my beautiful guests, beautiful in different ways, because, but one commonality in their beauty is the fact that no matter how many negative things they heard, or no matter how negative their circumstances were, they are all standing tall, technically. My first standing tall guest, remember the story of Toyin, and then there's Toyin, there is Eva, and then there's Bukky. Hi. So I would like us in this segment to be able to help people to understand that negativity exists, right? But it's how you deal with it that matters. And I will start with you, Toyin. What was the most negative thing you've ever been told in your life?
I think it's about 4 years now, 5 years ago.
Only 4 years ago?
Yeah. But it really hurt. Other things, but this really hurt because of what I experienced. I was on admission in a hospital. I had surgery, and I was taken to ICU. And unfortunately, crisis came. So I was dealing with the surgery issues, tubes and everything. And then crisis came. And this nurse came because I was crying. She was an ICU nurse. And she said, what's the matter with you? You should be used to the pain by now.
Oh, wow.
So that was the worst thing I could ever be. And that is because it took me a while to get myself together. And I realized that it's because the truth of the matter is that nobody realizes the extent to which the pain is. It's worse than slamming your hand on a car door. I did that, and I did not cry. I broke my finger. And somebody was like, wow, you mean I said, yes, because the pain I go through on a regular basis is worse than this. But you see, people don't understand, so they now feel, oh, maybe it's just pain. But no, it's not just pain.
So that's the worst you ever heard?
Yeah.
But again, that didn't stop you. Now you're thinking of starting a TV show. Because you want to do what?
Because I want to prove to people that sickle cell is an issue. And yes, there are certain challenges we face, but there are people who are doing well, doing great with sickle cell. Despite the odds, What's the most negative thing you've ever been told? I'm asking Eva now. Apart from that auntie that told you, oh, orphans. I guess she was saying that because the truth is, orphans, who's going to pay their school fees? That's the question. Orphans can't go far. So is it too far from the truth?
Well, what she said, if it's not that, I've not been brought to Little Saint Orphanage and taken care of by my mom now, definitely then I don't even know who would have cared enough to pay for my school fees, who would have cared enough, because even then I was in primary school. When I came out from primary school, I couldn't go any further with my education. It was when I got to Little Saint I continued my education in secondary school. So what she was saying, she was just judging with what was around her, the situation then. She wasn't thinking to the future.
So what's the most negative thing? Is that the most negative thing you've ever been told?
The most negative thing I've ever been told, I think it happened about 2 years ago.
That's also recent.
Yes, 2 years ago, when, this is my movie Last Minute. You know, I was going, it's two actually, one is an action, one is a word. You know, I was going to different companies, sourcing for sponsorship, finances, you know, to do this. And one manager of a very prominent company, I mean, of a very popular company in Nigeria, told me that what do I want, that I'm an orphan, do I know what I'm doing? That was what he asked me, that, do I know what I'm doing? That's,
what does that mean? Orphans don't know what they're doing, I don't know.
So he was looking at me like, oh, do I know what I'm doing? And, you know, he started making advances at me. That I should come, you know, he will take care of me, that I should forget this thing I'm doing.
Looking after
exactly. So he just judged the situation that, oh, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, so, you know, I should just come to him and all that. So I really cried, because I felt that, okay, you should accept me with the situation I've gone through, trying to inspire people in the world to assist me. Now you're telling me as an orphan, do I know what I'm doing? And, you know, trying to make me come to...
Did you tell your mother, well, your foster mom, did you tell her?
Yes, I told her about it. So she told me not to communicate with him again.
Of course, you lost the bid.
He wasn't planning on giving me anything. He just wanted to just sleep with me, definitely. And maybe give me some little change, but not giving me what I wanted to finance my project. So, but you can imagine
an orphan being in that situation, if they have no help, they can succumb.
Of course, it happens. It happens. I've met someone before who doesn't have a mom, because one thing I'm going to do later in future is, you know, by God's grace, I'm going to have a foundation whereby I will empower young girls. You know, it's not about sleeping with married men and doing all sorts that can give you money. I know that, you know, I've heard some stories from some orphans, and I ask them, okay, how do you survive? And like, you see this man, blah, blah, blah. They start pointing fingers at men. And truthfully, I really don't blame them, you know, because they don't really have that guidance to make them know that without sleeping with a man, you can actually make it, even without anything.
So I see Bukky just looking at all of you. She's using PRI. PRI.
No, it's actually very interesting, because I feel like there are people with parents that are sleeping with married men. I don't think it's, you know, to say an orphan
There's no excuse.
issue. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think, and maybe this is just my upbringing. Like, look at you. You've probably learned to be independent from a very long time.
Yeah, she was selling pure water at 10.
You know what I mean? So I actually admire her being able to sit here now and then, you know, do everything that she's doing despite the circumstances. Because,
have you heard what are the worst things, negative things that you've heard?
And what are the most people say all kinds of things every day. I mean, we hear everything. I've heard your company is not going to go anywhere, which obviously they're wrong, whatever. I've heard you're not pretty enough. I've heard all sorts. And you know, whether anybody likes it or not, this Nigeria is tough. It's not a joke. The wahala is plenty. And, but again, having that confidence, though, it still boils all down to that confidence.
So where does it come from?
And which is why my clients that want to go into any form of, you know, charity work or that kind of business, CSR, I'm very interested in the girl child. Yes. Targeting young girls from when they're very young and teaching them the importance of, one, loving themselves, self-esteem, is what raises strong women today. And we need to always remember that strong women raise strong boys, regardless, as well. Which is why you've noticed there's a lot of programs in the world focusing on the girl child.
Okay, so it's really not it's an accident that have all girls on this set. But I mean, it's just... It's not an accent, but I think some of the strongest people are female, if you ask me, you know. And we must tap into that. But, you know, I would like you to say, for example, what you think the lessons, the things that really shouldn't do to attract negativity. Okay, no, you cannot not attract negativity. Okay. The things that you must do, negativity otherwise, what are the things that you must do?
Okay. Basically, have a positive mindset.
Did you have an accident, or is it genetic?
It's not genetic, no. You have to build on it. And my strong faith in God helped a lot. Me, I would say I'm spiritual.
Somebody should say you should be blaming God now.
I know I've had all sorts. I've had somebody tell me, what's the matter? All the ones I said on, when I came to your TV.
Yes.
Yeah, the person called me on, all that one I was saying on your TV program was lies. That I tell the truth, I hate my parents. I say, hate my parents for what? What will hating my parents even get me? Hate will even further my issue.
To give you stress and
exactly.
the crisis,
that the
will,
crisis
come.
will come. Exactly. So but I think we need to be open-minded and believe that we can achieve anything. There is nothing that, you just have to know how and when to achieve it.
So for you, being strong-willed is a positive thing. It's one of the ways you're able to get...
It's a major way because I see people who have gone through even less than what I've gone through, and they don't have that, they give up. And I'm trying to encourage even people without sickle cell. I'm like, what is wrong with this person? Because sometimes I don't get it, maybe because of what I've gone through and how I've been able to push myself to be able to achieve all I have achieved, So sometimes when I see them, I just get, what's the matter with you? You're even better than me. You don't have so much limitations.
Managing your situation.
Oh, yes. That's why I always tell people, I mean, as much as we do the love thing, please think again, because it's capital intensive. Really.
And emotionally.
And finding a good hospital and a good doctor that knows how to manage. We've lost people due to mismanagement. So, you have parents running up and down, selling their houses, selling their cars just to manage the child that they have. So it is really capital.
Okay, but you've told people who've lived up to 80 with sickle cell.
Yes, there's 80.
In this very
85,
Nigeria?
90.
Really,
yes. Yes.
So it's a function of managing it?
It's a function of managing it.
So what's the secret to overcoming negativity? How one says a strong will, faith in God. What's yours?
Okay, mine is determination. Yes, I'm a very determined person. Very, very determined. Even when I started my first movie, a lot of people were telling, I got a lot of no. To the extent that I felt my
That's the one that you produced or the one that you acted in?
No, the one I produced.
Okay.
Yes, that's last minute. I got a whole lot of no. But that didn't make me to, give up on my dreams that, maybe fame making is not for me. Maybe I should go back doing something. No, I was determined because I know who I am. Nobody can confuse me.
How useful is the story you want to tell? You're a sociology graduate.
Yes.
Now you're doing a movie about orphans or surviving, that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's not screened on big screen yet. I've not finished the works.
No, it's not finished yet. We've shot some parts already, but due to finances, I had to restructure the script. So hopefully when the finances come, when the right crew come,
you'll pay me for adverts. So, but why do you think that story needs to be told, though?
Yeah, it needs to be told because a lot of people need to be inspired. A lot of people need to hear from me. That is why I feel I owe orphans in Africa. I feel I owe them something, and I owe them my message because there are lots of things I can't say here, but everything, everything that I've gone through, I know that they need to. It's a message that I need to give to them.
And we'll see it in that movie when it comes out.
Yes.
How do you overcome negativity? Because when you started, there's a female, one person running this PR company and wants to be, and today you have some of the best clients in the world.
How do I overcome negativity?
Yeah.
I think I wear my sunshades.
Literal sunshades or...
Ray Charles. No, I'm kidding. I've learned very quickly not to pay attention and to just keep going. There's nobody that's going to be watching this show that will tell me that they've not experienced some form of negativity or anything. And how do we deal? We just continue doing what we do. So far, we know we're doing the right thing and we're being the best in what we do. When you start listening, it's going to start destroying you. You can't listen, you can't pay attention. And see, I'm sure even when you started your magazine, I'm sure there were people that said...
Up until tomorrow. There will always be.
But guess what?
Yeah.
As they say, that next issue is going to come out. The next one is going to come out. No matter what anybody says, the issues are coming out and they're still on point. So it's going to keep shutting them up.
So, but it's good to help people to know that there is really no end. When is the end?
No.
When is the end? When will be the end for you?
For me, I don't think there will be saving me when I die. I think I'll keep doing, even if I cannot do the actual NGO and I've handed it over to somebody else to run and all that, I'll still be
But it's set
helping
up the
people.
NGO, it's
Yes.
functional, and people, you give counseling.
Yes, we have a free clinic,
Oh, that's
give free
great.
drugs. You know, although it's a
Wow.
struggle because of funding
Because you
and
raise
everything.
funding for all of that.
Yes, we try to raise, but sickle cell is still not an issue. You know, although we have the highest number in the world in Nigeria because of our
Really?
population.
Wow.
Yes, we have the highest number, about 4 million living with sickle cell. But the challenge is that it's not recognized. But I still keep pushing. I do.
Our old favorite group, TLC.
Yeah.
Yes,
T-balls.
she's.
T-balls
There's a lot
is
of American
quite a bit of
people
people.
that Miles
it's a
Davis,
black-
Miles Davis had sickle cell too, you know, and all that, and we have here too.
We do. I mean, we heard that our current president, our president-elect was,
Had
he
a
had
child.
sickle cell daughters, you know, so maybe they'll take it seriously.
Hopefully.
So what are your final words?
Well, my final words is no matter what you are going through, still keep your head high. You know, don't give up. Don't ever dream of it. Don't give up. Just keep pushing. One day your light will definitely come out.
And you, sis? Aburomi, my daughter.
I think for me, it's about being the best in your own head. I mean,
First.
At what you can, if it means going to extra school, if it means reading more, if it means doing whatever it is that you do, be the best in what you do, try to give your best, and stay focused, because it's very easy to get derailed. Focus is key, confidence is key. There's nothing wrong with being a female and being strong. Strong women are also, no, seriously, because people are like, Bobby, you come off a bit, you know, I hope you're submissive. Yes, we will be submissive.
But you have to be, otherwise your husband wants to be married
exactly,
to you.
They'll just,
And your kids will
they'll sweep me out. But he appreciates the personality that I have, so yeah.
So start by being the best in your head. I think, and again, if parents can at least recognize that best in the child's head, because that's why in your case, your parents never gave up and they never blamed themselves, you never blamed him. And if the others should see the good in others, if Mrs. George hadn't said, look, we must be able to pick out orphans from the street, you probably would never have had the hope to be able to do what you do.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, it's about one person realizing that people can be whatever they can be. Start in your head. Help yourself grow up and help others live. Thank you, all of you, for being with. I wish you luck with your TV show. I wish you luck with your movie. I know you're riding high and highest, so I still wish you luck anyway. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you again next week.